Okay, let's start. 12:06. Still no Brett. Does anyone have the email from Brett? Because if he can't talk or type, I have to email him. So today's status, as usual, elections. We'll see what the candidates are. We'll create a thread to share Adrian's email. Adrian is not here. See what's new on the social media from last week. So just as a reminder, last week we talked about the elections which were going on for the candidates, harvest suggestions, 1.9 GitHub, how do we organize the move to GitHub without losing anything, any content. We had some demos from Daniel with the new layout, well, with a suggestion for a new layout editor, and shown from his CI technique using Kudu. So, any demo today? Who wants to do some demos? Nobody?
Nick said he wants to do a demo. No,
What?
Nick?
Zoltán?
No, Nicholas.
Oh, Nick, you want to show the... Yes, Nick. Nick does a demo today. Nick will do a demo. He's typing. What does it mean? Yeah, that will work, vNext. So Nick will show Brochard. And that will be it. So if there are any subjects we want to talk about, we will have some time. Okay, status first. Not that much, apparently. Maybe some weird changes. I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? So 7 days ago, this is Sipke's work on some, this one we saw, and then fixing AuditTrail bug. And very nice, Nick. Bug number, simple message, and description with a longer message, and then work item tag. Cool. YSOD on the AuditTrail screen by recalling all relevant data for AuditTrail settings and provider. Settings. That content, blah blah blah. So when there is an activity for a user, now you can access the user as the content of the workflow. Okay. And a fix. Then, some guys need to talk. Piotr is doing some changes on Orchard caching here and impacting the Redis cache with a cache T convertible.
Yeah. I basically, instead of returning just an object, I'm returning a strongly typed value that can be converted implicitly and explicitly to the raw value, and so it's a better kind of nullable T, but nullable only supports value types, so we needed to roll out our own. Plus the thing that we can add more metadata to that cached entry in case you would like to see when it's going to expire or something like that.
Unless Sipke, which worked also on the same class, and I assume applied the suggestion from Jeff, but please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that's weird because Piotr is going too far and Sipke is going
backwards. Yeah.
So
yeah, but I tested the thing that I've done, and it's not a breaking change for existing code that uses object and the object get.
I'm sure it's a breaking change, but until we find so many bugs, because whenever someone says, "Oh, let's do better nullable," that doesn't sound right. A better nullable. Just trying to look at what Sipke has done here, because I see it's T. Yes, Sipke, you are losing the T here, which was added on purpose.
Yeah.
And you are it's just reverting everything we did. This is literally reverting the changes. This is different.
Yeah, I added the same. It's just a resharper, just screaming that we should use the base class, not the subclass for static.
Improving. Sipke, what did you drink? Or smoke? Oh no, Sipke is not here. He's here. But are you talking and you are muted?
Sipke is on mobile, I guess. There are some issues.
Yes, so we'll talk about it when he arrives. He said because of the rain he will be late. But I might explain that. So yeah. We'll ask Sipke what he's trying to do, but that's definitely even more wrong. Again, I think we should look at what Jeff suggested on this specific issue, because it was improving without messing up with the signature. We'll look later. Okay. Status first. So Bertrand taking back the new one.extend set into his branch. This again we have also to ask Sipke what it's about. What is stop routing? I don't know what stop routing is. MVC, but oh. That's weird. I didn't know about that. Okay. So apparently he added support for stop routing. Adding support for stop routing, okay. If route at randomly stop routing handler, return route data.
Guys, can you hear me?
Oh yes, and you're driving, it's bad, we will mute you because you should not drive and phone. He's muted. It's not me, but he's been muted. We'll wait for him to arrive. Improving caching, this was the... Is that the same thing?
Yeah, this is the thing that we've been talking about.
Okay. Updating Azure libraries from Sipke. Let's see. So okay, the new ones. We don't see the versions here. We'll assume they are the new ones. Let me see the commit message. Okay. We'll trust him. Adding support for draftable element widgets. Okay. And email field. Maintaining state. Okay. The new web forms. Cool. So status, elections. Or do we have the link to the post directly?
On the main site, is it? It is there, the second post.
On the main site. Wait, up. So since last week we have Piotr, and I assume since this morning, Piotr, Zoltán and Benedek. Cool. So someone tweeted that should we have an election because there are only 4 or 5 candidates. That's cool because we have more than that. So comparing to last year's candidates, obviously we had Ilan because he's currently part of the steering committee and he didn't enlist. We also had, I assume, Nick. Nick, you are not a candidate this year?
No, not this year.
Don't like to lose?
I don't need to. I win every day.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay. So, so as per the nobody else before we close the enlistments? I assume no, because it will be there. So as for what we decided on the schedule, this is December 2nd, it's past 12 p.m. So these will be the candidates. Can I close the discussion? I think I can't. No. Okay. Candidates. How did we call it? Is opening is closed with the following. So we have, by alphabetical order, we have Zoltán last, sure, Benedek Farkas. Oh, I will do a link to your account because I think that's important. We have Zoltán, Piotr, we have Benedek. Benedek. Is this one, Nightwolf. We have Piotr Smith. Where is your name, Piotr? Your name is not here. Because I want to copy paste it. I won't try to type it. Piotr S. ZMYD. We have Antoine. We have Bertrand. Roy, B.E. Bertrand. Myself. Oh, we have Sipke also. But should we include Sipke? We don't want to vote for him. We have Sipke. And I will try that Skurstra. I think that's it. Check scores. Yes, I'm right. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candidates. That's good. So next step, I can save it. No issues. The accents are correct. It's in correct order. In alphabetical order. Just to be explicit. Save. Am I missing something on the chat? Shouldn't we have dedicated places for those candidates who were SC member 3 times in a row, like a dynasty? Dedicated places. What do you mean by dedicated places?
That was just a joke.
You mean we can...
You wouldn't be elected, but you would be just in the steering committee.
You need to increase your microphone volume. It's very low for me.
Oh, really?
Or maybe you're too far away. It's very, very low. I know for everyone, but... I don't... Okay. So, Fred, which time new Fred will be open for voting? I think it's opened here. So after this meeting, like this afternoon or tonight, I will open the voting thread explaining the rules. I will need Adrian. I don't know how we did that last year. If we shared Adrian's email publicly like this, does anyone have a link to last year's thread about it? Elections. Vote is open. Okay, let me check that. Oh, last year it was Brett and Christian for accepting to be assessors when you vote. Oh, yeah, for the assessors only. One Fred here, rules. I may vote once to be. Okay, okay. Okay, cool. Vote at brettmorrison.com. So I will talk with Adrian. I think I will do the same thing, create a fake email address to send to Adrian. What's the name? Do you know, guys, the name of an anonymizing email server? I've seen that recently. Like you can create an ad hoc email address and nobody knows. Okay, I found out then. I will create a fake email address and copy paste this post and send it to Adrian because he accepted to be the recipient of the votes. And this will definitely be a new committee because Ilan is not in the list. Yes, Nick, you You were just after Ilan last year. Then Sam and Antoine. Okay. Any question? Comments? So election candidates. With the candidates, and they are here. Thread to be created for voting. Advance email will be anonymized and did anyone paste Brett's email? Brett, you're here, so you are hearing us. Do you agree to?
Yeah, I can
check
count.
what.
I can count the votes again.
Okay, thank you. And I need your email address. Can you send it to me? Because you have
just use the same one as last time. vote@brettmorrison.com. The same one as the same technique as the last election.
So we can send it to you then?
Yeah,
directly.
I'll handle it.
Okay, and so I don't need to anonymize anything. You can handle it, and I will also ping you with Adrian then. So because we need two assessors, I don't know how do you call that? Bertrand last year. You call them assessors. Okay, assessors. Cool. Great. I will create the thread today for sure.
What about the idea of having an election every 2 years instead of annually?
This will have to be discussed privately and then decided privately. So we can't talk about it publicly. I'm just kidding. I'm not really. It's just once in a year, once per year. I think it's good to have once a year because things change very quickly. And so, for instance, let me show you why. If I take the list from last year, okay, look at what has changed in 1 year. Ilan is no more a candidate. Okay, so the fact that we have a new year, let him decide he's no more a candidate. Travis is no more a candidate. Samuel is no more a candidate. And I assume because I don't know if he's still working on Orchard. Nick has changed his mind. Okay, so I think it's good. And then the impact of people working on Orchard. Look at since last year how much work has on Sipke. So Sipke has much more power on Orchard than he used to have last year. Zoltán was not a candidate. Neither Benedek. Weird. I thought you were a candidate, Zoltán, last year. And you see now they are candidates and they have lots of impact on Orchard too. So I think it's good to have 1 year because it's hard to have an impact on an open source project like this over 2 years. I think 1 year is good. Nobody is talking, but so people must agree then.
Okay, I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, and as Maurice is saying, we are changing the terms, so we could not. We will have to restart a new opening for candidates. 1 year. So, what do people think about 1 year, 2 years? I don't think it's good. It's nice to talk about it. What does Bertrand say? What piece of crap? I don't agree with anything I didn't hear because of freaking link. Okay. Everyone's got it. We might have a back.
Can we literally just move to Google Hangouts next week? I really can't stand
literally. We can try.
30-minute meeting. I've heard about maybe 5 minutes of it.
We can try. And if it doesn't work, we'll reboot. By the way, Google Hangout actually makes my laptop blue screen. You saw that in the Thursday meetings, and it happened this morning again. Crazy. Yeah. Okay, we can try that. I will use Firefox. Okay, so I think, thank you, Brett, for the suggestion, but yeah, we'll keep with 1 year, at least for 1 more year.
It makes sense. It makes sense the way you explained it.
And thank you for helping us on the election.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
The biggest problem is I have to validate everyone's election voter ability.
Yep, so I will try to be specific in the thread to let people know how to mention what impact they've had on the project. So you just have to click one link and see, oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, good.
And also to make it obvious that there is also something I fear is that they own the account they are pointing to. Because today, who can say that, so take Zoltán's account, for instance. Zoltán is named Piotr. What's the link between the word Piotr and Zoltán Lioksky?
By the way, the link is that on my profile, it's also said that I'm that one.
Cool. Yes. So maybe that could be something we ask for people to have their name on their profile match their email. Because when we receive an email, like I could say, oh, I sent from Sébastien Ross email, but I use the Piedon account. So yes, I've contributed because it's Piedon. Okay. So I think we should need to ensure that too. Okay, I'll take care of that. So what do you say, Zoltán, that if I go to your account, I can see you are Zoltán? No way.
From my Cortex profile, there is
Zoltán Leoksky.
Or there could be more Zoltán Lehotskys, but
okay, cool. That's good idea. Okay, I'll try that. If I go to mine, behavior.
Yeah, it's important that everyone put their CodePlex ID in the voting in their vote.
Yep. Oh, sure. Link at least to this view and.
Yeah.
And
I mean, not necessarily called Plex ID, but some link to your, eligibility.
If you have that, you can see that because you have the forks, you have all the crap you are doing on the left, and activity. You see Orchard project, so you can see the activity for the Orchard project. So that's easier. Cool. Okay, other questions? Kicked again. Bitcoin, I don't care. I sold everything. Should be part of the form. Okay. Google Hangouts. So another decision will be Brett. Google Hangouts for next. I hope I can have an anonymized URL for the Google Hangout and not host it on my own name. We'll see. Oh, great. Adrian just joined? No, he's not. He didn't join. Adrian, I will add you to. Is Adrian here? I can't see him.
No, someone post his email in the thread, please.
I have it. I think I have it. I will send it to you. Cool. So Sipke, are you available now?
I'm here.
What is this crap?
What is what? Improving caching API. Okay, so that's just pushed to a separate branch, and it's related to the. Did I include the ticket number? I didn't. So this is a discussion about the cache service API and the cache service provider or something. And the issue is that the API, it's inconsistent. It feels weird because you put in an object. The signature of the method for put, for example, accepts a generic type argument, so you could add a strongly typed object, but when you return it, you get back an object. So you would have to cast yourself. And of course, there was an issue. So then I think Piotr changed this at some point for it to be everything would then accept generic type arguments, and you would get back a strongly typed object as well. But this, of course, poses a problem if you add if you request a Boolean value, which is a value type, but if it doesn't exist in the dictionary or in the cache, then you'll get back false instead of null. And the initial workaround we suggested was to simply ask for a nullable Boolean, so you would get back null if it doesn't exist.
So,
but it won't work for.
You apply the changes that Jeff suggested inside the extension method by providing this lambda, okay, and that will work. But what you fixed, what you broke, is actually another change which was related, which was the original change, which was that in the abstraction, in the iCache service, we need at least the t value here.
So why do we need a t value there?
So that the implementation can decide how to serialize and deserialize the actual object in the actual storage.
Yeah. It would make easier for certain libraries to have a type upfront.
Okay.
So if you're using,
that seems weird because it didn't seem to be used in the default implementation.
It is.
Do we have an
in
example?
JSON serializer and the serializer,
So here,
for example.
Okay.
as in the thread, you can keep object as the return, but please keep the t here on the get. And same thing on the put is fine. You can keep t and t for the put, that's fine. But for the get, you return an object and you set a t. This way, the implementation knows about t and can do whatever, and it returns an object, and you keep your extension methods.
Right, I see.
That's
because
the
of the
ultimate
JSON serializer, because otherwise it wouldn't know to what object you would. But then you would get back how does JSON? Because the JSON serializer, does it actually store the type information? I don't think so.
No, it doesn't. But
fine.
when you deserialize and you put a type, it will create an instance of the type. If you don't put a type, it will return you a dynamic object, and then you'll try to cast it, and you'll have lots of issues because it's not the underlying the real object that you want.
And you can do this after the fact. You can't somehow convert a JSON deserialized object into something that needs to happen right there and then.
Of course, but it would be a lot of. You would have to rewrite all the properties, basically, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then there is a casting issue with the Boolean, if it's a null or not, and this is why the extension methods will help, because you can apply a lambda if the value is null. So that's
this is the thing that I've changed on the caching feature branch. So because we couldn't use the nullable, so we needed to have to somehow to be able to pass the information that the item was not existent. And nullable works only for value types, and it's a structure. So it's problematic to work with the reference type. So that's why I rolled up a new cache t object that is going to be returned instead of the object, and the existing code that uses the object get t method could work the same because the cache t is directly castable, convertible to t, and vice versa. So so basically it's a better object. So it's a wrapper around the t value, whichever it is. It can be a value type, reference type, and we always have an information if there is a null, without actually returning null, which can be another problem Yeah, you
Orchard,
need to check for the null value.
Orchard v3.
Okay.
Meaning there are too many risks with that.
So for now, we will just add back the T
Yes.
type argument on the get, and that's it, right? We don't need it on the puts.
Simple. You can put, yes, please put the T on the put too.
On the put too. Why? So that
Because
it's
when we serialize, yes, and when we serialize, you can put the T. That's fine on the put. That there is no. That's beautiful, and it won't break anything.
Right. But it doesn't add anything.
And that's more information for the serializer. You never know.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's the only two changes I will add to that branch, and then I'll merge it back into 1x.
Then continue on branch, and next week we can merge into 1x, unless you're very confident.
I'm never confident.
Cool. So, next. Nick, can you do a demo? Are you in a state that you could do a demo?
My PC is in a state that I can do a demo, but my Wi-Fi and link are not. So
this is sad. So let's just as a reminder for everyone, just to show what you are working on. Orchard, CMS, Brochard. So for the ones who were at the Harvest Conference in Redmond in July, I did a session and we talked about the future of Orchard and the Orchard v2, like the next main release with breaking changes and everything. And the idea was everything is open, but we need to keep all the same concepts. And we will make it work on ASP.NET vNext that you all know about now. And
you want me to try and demo, and if it breaks up, then just move on?
Try it, share, and I'm talking in the meantime. So,
okay.
Yeah, so stop presenting, you can do it when you want. And so I created the repository for Nick, because Nick had started to work on that on his spare time, and he's trying to implement the same multi-tenancy and modularity concepts first using ASP.NET vNext, and he's doing it publicly. So anyone can participate.
Let me present. Okay, I'm presenting. Tell me when you guys can see my screen. If it cuts out, then just move on and don't.
Okay. So just to look at what he did, let's see. Let's look at the source code quickly. Where can you see the source code in this? Oh, this is the source code. What's the difference between .web and vNext the framework and .web is the web app? So from what I know, Nick, you could talk and explain what you did already, because we can see your screen. Talking anyway.
You see my screen?
No. Oh, I can. Benedek?
I can see your screen too, yeah.
Cool, go.
Okay, cool. So I'll be really quick or else it's just going to cut out again. What I've started to do is implement Orchard from just the very core. So what I've got is I have a very small solution which I started. The namespace is Orchard vNext instead of Orchard, just so we can tell what we're working with here. So we still got our host and our framework and just some very dummy modules. There's not really much implemented at the moment, but what I'll do is I'll quickly show you what it looks like. So there's no MVC UI or anything like that. It's all command line driven, just to give you an idea of how I wanted this to work. So I wanted to start with multi-tenancy and then get extensions working and then slowly build on the Orchard concepts from there. So to start Orchard, it's quite simple. I just do kweb, and what it will do is it will initialize the Orchard host. So you can see here that it's initialized the Orchard host, and so I've got 2 tenants, and if I just query these, I've got an error in the framework at the moment, or else you would see hello world from tenant 1. So I'm still running with the dev branch locally, but the code that's up there you can still use. So I'm just pushing everything out to the console. I haven't implemented a logger. I have a fake logger at the moment. There's no caching. There's no database. There's no content management. There's none of those concepts. Quite literally, getting multi-tenancy and extensions working. So you can see that a lot of these things you would see through the debug messages. So host is initialized, looking for the extensions in modules, core, and themes. 2 things that I've done, which the vNext APIs don't allow you to do, is dynamic compilation. So I've actually hooked that in. So you can see that Orchard demo and test, those 2 modules are built on the fly and returned as assemblies. Now with ASP.NET normal version that everyone else is using, you normally use the build manager to do that. But in our instance, we can't use that because that's not in our version of our K runtime, for example, in vNext. So I had to do something very different, which was interesting. But that's cool. It all resolves, and you can see that it's also resolved all my dependencies and pushed them in. It's created my shell context. This is where it breaks. There's an issue to do with routing or something like that, which I have to look into. But it's pretty cool. What's really cool about it so far, though, is that I haven't had to use any third-party libraries. Everything has just been vNext. There's been no third-party dependencies apart from Microsoft DLLs. And yeah, so it's pretty cool so far. But yeah, not much of a demo. One thing to note is that the pipelines change slightly. When you start up a when you start up your host, we use middleware now. So middleware registers the container, and then to do multi-tenancy is actually really easy to do in this instance. What we do is we use something called a shell host middleware. Actually, not shell host, container middleware, sorry. And all we're doing is we're matching the request host value against the shell settings and then setting up the dependencies based on that. Again, no caching, so if I make the query again, it will go and register all the dependencies, rebuild all the files. But it's pretty cool. One thing also to note is that there are no bin folders. So the what's it called? The memory footprint is a lot smaller, which is pretty nice. I can actually show that just to prove it. Okay, source web. Well, okay, you've got one bin folder, but it doesn't have all the DLLs in that you would expect. There's nothing in these bin folders. You can see that we've got stuff here for test 1, which is this module. No bin folder. Everything is empty.
I can do it in PHP.
Huh? But can we do it in PHP? Oh yeah, sure, Sébastien. I'm sure we can try that.
The no bin folder. I didn't have to wait for ASP.NET vNext to do it.
Well, it's just it's pretty cool though. What do you think?
Okay. No, that's cool. I like it. Yep, cool.
Hardest part to get going. So that took a lot because in vNext, in order to build a project, it has to be, in normal circumstances, it has to be referenced by the parent project. So, for example, Orchard.web would have to reference all its modules. But you need to, yeah. Most of it will run on KCR, actually, Core CLR, if anyone's wondering, which is what you can use to run on Mono. But and yes, it is using Roslyn. It uses Roslyn to build the modules under the hood.
Oh, by the way, while we're talking about Roslyn, we need someone to integrate Roslyn in Orchard, the current version. There's a ASP.NET NuGet package for Roslyn that I actually tried it a year ago when they were about to release Roslyn, and they asked me to try an option. It was already working. So we need to integrate that. This way, when we do dynamic compilation, like on the views, for instance, it will be much faster to compile those things. So we need someone to do that. And it should be as easy as installing a NuGet package or just declaring the build provider inside the web config and referencing the DLL. That's very easy. Yeah, we need to do that. Cool. Great. Thank you, Nick.
You're very welcome.
So yeah, first goals are modularity, multi-tenancy, and dependency injection. All the things work together. We're using the same concept as we have today in Orchard. And then when you have modularity, anyone can create modules or migrate modules to the new infrastructure. And that's really cool.
That's exactly it. You know, and with routing as well, you've got to get that sorted as well, or else it just doesn't quite tie up.
Zoltán asking about OWIN. So in the ASP.NET vNext stack, it's not OWIN technically, but it's the same thing as OWIN, the pipeline stuff. So you have middlewares. They are not from the OWIN namespace or DLL actually, but this is the exact same story. It's not also the same signature for the method, like the func of string of dictionary of func of whatever. And again, Piotr, that's wrong. This is not OWIN. This is.
I know, but it resembles OWIN. But
yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly what I said. Yeah. So, but this is not OWIN. Okay.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Means that what we have for OWIN now will be very easy to be ported over.
Yeah. Well, we don't have that much actually, but the next version is entirely based on the pipeline of the middlewares. The vNext. Look at some examples. This is just that. In our version, we include OWIN to add the notion of middlewares. In the vNext, it's just middlewares. There is nothing else than middlewares.
Just so everyone knows, I can't actually see the messages because links crashed. I can only hear people talking. So.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So just a little bit of social messages. What we saw this week on Twitter or blog posts, there were a bunch of interesting things. Let me check. And so, this is too far away. Someone switched to Orchard. Great. Nick mentioned this in a tweet. There is who is that? Very famous. Haza, who created some VS plugins to integrate Orchard directly into VS. You see, right-click on a folder, create new module, and create new theme, and create that part or whatever, and with all the dialogues to create that. So that's very nice. It's not a template per se, and he's actually mentioning the template work that was done by who? I can't remember his name. Sorry.
Sébastien, are you sharing something? Because
yes, I'm showing you something, but I'm not sharing because I forgot about it. Sorry.
Yeah. It happens all the time.
Thank you. So Orchard Seeds was the template-based extension, but what Haza has done, so now you should be able to see, is an extension directly in Visual Studio to add the create new module. I hope you can see now.
Yeah, that article was the best article I read all week. It's amazing.
So create new theme, create new module, dialogues to create things, parts, everything. So it's directly integrated into Visual Studio. That's cool.
Oh, I'll work on it.
Sure. And okay, so Zoltán says, seems great, we'll check it out. So next week, you can expect a Lombic.Visual Studio extension module.
Yeah, it will be just a rebranding.
I didn't say that.
Actually, we thought about that, to have a Visual Studio extension, but this seems great.
So what else? And this Twitter feed, blah, blah, same thing, retweeted. Maybe. Nick blogged. So he found his keyboard and he blogged about something. And I read the blog post. And I can tell you, I don't understand what he wanted to say in his blog post. Apparently it's awesome. But what is that?
All right, yeah, maybe I'll rewrite it slightly.
So the ability to specify the culture in the route and Orchard will, as if by magic, use the localized version of that page if it's available. What do you need to do? Nothing? Just create URLs with the culture in. It wasn't
and it will actually just. So if you, for example, if you have a so let's say you've got you use your PO files to do localization, and you have like a module that doesn't have content entry, but you use the PO files to localize it. Well, to change the culture, you can just put the culture URL in, and it just works like magic.
Okay, magic.
Yeah.
And that should be it. Philip about theming the admin. A friend of Nick who's tweeting stuff weird.
Yeah, ignore that. You did fine.
Blah blah extension. Toastmeister into okay. Yep. That's about it. Nothing more. No specific blog post I missed, but this one and the discussion on complex. So that's it. Any questions? When is 1.9? Same answer as the last 4 or 5 weeks. When Sipke stops doing new stuff and fixes the bugs.
Hey Sipke, can you take a pull request for me? I need to do it, but I forget.
Which pull request and why can't you?
No, it's all right. I'll do it. Don't worry.
There's currently a few outstanding bugs, but I think one of them, Sébastien said he would do it. It was very small. Can't recall the. Sébastien, is it just about the high priority issues, or is it all outstanding issues? Okay.
High priority issues.
I think there's 4 outstanding issues currently.
Yeah, please adopt a bug.
I already did.
Yeah, that's good. I would say please adopt a bug. I don't talk it to you. I talk it to anyone. Okay. And we should make a website. So Sipke, please make a website called "Please Adopt an Orchard Bug."
I like that.
Great. That's it for today. Thanks everyone. Quite a few actually, and there are no duplication in this list. So that's a good meeting. Great.
How come you're not presenting at NDC this year, Sébastien?
Sorry?
How come you're not going to be? How come you're not presenting Orchard at NDC?
Because nobody cares. But I'm sure you will get something in our demos this year again.
I won't
for
be there.
For the 5th year in a row, something like that. Just kidding. No, because Damien and Fuller are going there. Great. Thanks everyone. See you next week. Oh, sorry. Crap. Thursday. Bug triage. I completely forgot last Thursday to show up. I don't know what you guys did. I completely forgot to show up. It was not work day. It was Thanksgiving. Crap. Sorry guys. I told you I would try and I completely forgot. On Friday I figured it out. much lucky. Yeah. French pastries. Yeah, thank you guys. See you on Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Guys.
Yeah, see you guys.
Bye everyone.
Bye, guys.